You know the drill by this point. Jared Leto has a new movie out. In this case, Sony Pictures' Morbius, which means it's time for his co-workers to carry on about his method acting and how committed he was to his role during filming. This eye-rolling trend really began with the promotional tour for David Ayer's Suicide Squad, in which Leto's co-star Margot Robbie said he was, quote, kind of terrifying as the Joker, but also described him as being very conscientious on set. Conversely, Will Smith, who played Deadshot in the film, claimed that he never actually met Leto during production, thanks to the actor's total immersion in the role. Adam Beach, who played Slipknot in the film, went even further, revealing that Leto sent Robbie a love letter and a black box with a live rat in it. On the other hand, Smith allegedly received some bullets and a dead pig. Leto himself lent credence to some of these claims until they started to backfire on him, at which point he insisted the more outrageous stories floating out there, namely that he sent his Suicide Squad castmates sex toys and used condoms, were flat-out fabricated. Having maybe learned his lesson from the blowback over Suicide Squad, Leto was a little more coy while discussing his acting methods for Morbius with Variety. The actor stars in the Marvel Comics adaptation as Michael Morbius, a scientist with a rare blood disease who sets out to develop a cure for his condition. In his pursuit, he accidentally turns himself into a so-called living vampire who tries to use his superpowers for good, in spite of his newfound desires.
As a result of my procedure, I have an overpowering urge to consume blood.
Explaining his approach to portraying Dr. Morbius prior to his vampiric transformation, Leto kept it simple, saying, "I don't want to get too specific because I'd like to keep some of that for myself. But I leaned in, no pun intended. I'm a sucker for a pun, but I didn't mean that. I worked with people who had this specific physical challenge and modeled it after that." For Morbius, Leto limited his method acting to doing things like using crutches and contorting his body to portray his character in a regular human state, prior to getting a vampiric makeover. At the same time, his actions still left his co-workers worried about his physical well-being, with his co-star Adria Arjona telling Variety, "I remember fearing for this guy's spine. There should have been a physical therapist on call." Director Daniel Espinosa was similarly concerned about Leto harming himself with his antics, stating, "I got scared for Jared. He really commits. You have to watch out for it." He went on to mention a particular scene where Morbius shatters some glass, indicating that Leto left the movie's crew a little shaken with his intensity. Espinosa described Leto's acting in this sequence as being, quote, "a bit spooky." Leto, for better or for worse, seems to have recognized that nothing gets you more attention than turning the acting meter up to 11. The actual quality of your performance aside. This goes back to his Oscar-winning turn in Dallas Buyers Club, a movie in which the actor, a cisgender man, controversially played Rayon, a transgender woman with HIV.
Relax, I don't bite.
For the role, he lost 30 pounds and waxed most of his body. Similarly, he wore custom-made contact lenses that made his eyes opaque and prevented him from being able to see while portraying the blind scientist Neander Wallace for Blade Runner 2049.
Where did they go?
I know you know something.
More recently, Leto's method acting has earned him nearly equal measures of ridicule and acclaim. This culminated with his performance in the 2021 Ridley Scott film House of Gucci, in which the actor wore facial makeup and a fat suit to portray Paolo Gucci, the aging black sheep of the Gucci family. Most notably, his exaggerated Italian accent is frequently compared to that of Mario from the Super Mario video games.
You have a gift, I'm telling you.
Oh, stop. Stop, you're going to make me... You're going to make me cry.
Unsurprisingly, critics and the public seem to be at somewhat of a disagreement over the merits of Leto's portrayal of Dr. Morbius and the overall quality of the film in general. At the time of making this video, the Rotten Tomatoes critic score sits at 17%, while the audience score hovers far above at 70%. That being said, we're willing to bet that as long as Leto has any semblance of a devoted audience that celebrates his efforts, he'll continue to embrace this particular brand of divisive method acting in the future. And whether his next role ends up being an Oscar-worthy performance or another chuckle-inducing flop, we here at SlashFilm will be there to watch, popcorn in hand. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more SlashFilm videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.